Yo, what's up boys, it's Ironic, welcome back to another video. Now, before this video starts, I'd like to give a little bit of an update on my last video since more information has been brought out about the Twitter case. Joseph O'Connor, also known as Plugwalk Joe, a legend in the OG users community and a 1.9 tall piece of bread, was arrested in Spain for having been affiliated with the Twitter hack. This hasn't been proven, by the way. At the moment, he's only being interrogated in questions. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get right into the video. So the Minecraft name community has existed for quite a while now, and the first recorded deals that I could find having been done through Skype in 2012 and 2013. Now, as with most internet communities, the Minecraft OG community has and is to this day infested with people with malicious intent. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys a little bit of insight of what it was like to be a part of this community and what kind of people you'd be doing business with. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started. Now, the first thing that you'd have to be wary when starting out in the Minecraft community is scammers. Back when I first had to deal when MC Market was the market that people were selling on, people would protect themselves from scammers by using middlemen. Now that OG users is the place that people go to, this is still the case. Regardless, this doesn't always work, as scams have gotten insanely elaborate. I think Ami, an admin on OG users, can explain this the best.
It's kind of confusing.
Explain it. People would love to hear this.
To confirm you're on the right, you're talking to the right middleman, you do this thing called confirming on site. So you'll message the middleman on the website and say, hey, and you'll send a screenshot of the group chat like, hey, is this you? You know what I mean? And what they'll do for that triangle scam is they'll make 2 fake Discords and they'll have 2 group chats going on at the same time. There are 2 group chats, all right? And there will be a fake account on each one, right? So you'll have your 2 Arab, right? So the first one will be a real one of me and you with a fake Edwin, and then there'll be a real one of you and Edwin with a fake me.
Mm-hmm.
And in those, you will mimic the chats to be the exact same. However, which way the conversations will go, you'll mimic the chat to look the exact same. So when you provide the screenshot to the middleman, he'll see no problem and say, okay, yeah, that is me in the group chat. And then the middleman will be under the impression, as well as the buyer will be under the impression that they are talking to the real person on the website. Like everyone is talking to the same person, but really you're talking to yourself. You're talking as another fake person in 2 different group chats. Does that kind of make sense?
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, but how come the person being scammed aren't they in the conversation?
They're not aware of the other group chat.
Oh, okay, right.
Edwin,
But even though you have done a successful deal and obtained the account, there's still a good chance that you have, in quotes, been scammed. What do I mean by this? Well, let's say the seller of the account you just bought gave you the transaction ID. How are you going to check if it's legit? Unless he can show you the email receipt from Mojang, or if you go ask the Mojang team yourself, you can't verify it's legit. I wouldn't recommend talking to support and making a ticket to ask them anyway, as it would only put your account that you obtained by breaking the Mojang terms of service, by the way, on the radar. The seller could be keeping the real transaction ID to himself, and maybe even the creation email too, giving him a good chance to recover the account whenever he wants to. There's usually only one way an account gets into the community. It's stolen from the original owner. I mean, yeah, sure, there's people that claim OGs via sniping, and OG owners that created their accounts coming onto the market to sell them, but 99 out of every 100 accounts are stolen accounts. Now, how these accounts get stolen can vary a lot, some of the methods being just scamming the original owners, but there's also way more elaborate methods such as doxing them to blackmail them, taking over their emails via SIM swapping, phishing them with fake Mojang emails, and exploiting Mojang's ticket system in order to make them change the email attached to the account. Some people are also just stalked and harassed until the owners give up and either sell to the stalkers or just straight up give it to them in order to leave them alone. Obviously, people used to brute force accounts back in the day, but this method is pretty much dead. Now, I've covered SIM swappers multiple times on my channel and how common these criminals are in the OG community, but I'll give a brief summary on this once again. SIM swapping is an account takeover method where you hop on the phone with your target's phone carrier and pretend to be them in order to get their phone number moved to a SIM card in your possession. With this, you can bypass 2-step verifications on most platforms and reset passwords. These goons are spread across every platform with OG names and spend millions of dollars every year on them. They also also help bring new accounts into the community with databases and just by sim swapping OG owners of valuable accounts. I should probably mention that this is a federal crime and identity theft, and that the FBI is getting really good at cracking down on these guys. In a community as large as the OG market, there's bound to be people and groups that don't like each other. This, more often than not, results in both groups trying to fuck the other group over. Swatting, doxing, pulling back accounts, breaking into other username collectors' accounts in order to change the name and ruin the account, getting users false banned on the market, sim swapping each other, and many other types of online harassment, even breaking people's windows, G.
Listen, say my name again. I'm paying Valium to come to your house and break your windows, you fat cunt.
Oh shit.
Sorry. I'm paying Valium $200 right now to come break your window, you fat cunt. Say sorry right now. You have 10 seconds or it's coming to your house right now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Mom's that. Dev's giving me his contact. He says sorry right now, bro. Sorry, bro.
This has resulted in multiple community members leaving for good or going invisible due to harassment. Real cybercriminals. As I covered in my last video, some of these guys from the OG community go on to be real cybercriminals, as it's easily the best entry point for wanting to pursue cybercrime. OpenHCF being the best example, and out of respect for anyone else, I'm not going to name any more names. But during my time in the community, I learned more about hacking and exploiting on the internet than a lot of hacking and IT courses could teach you. There is so much money in the OG community, it is unbelievable. Now of course most users doing business have earned their cash just by selling and buying, you know, the general hustle. But there are users with some really serious balances on OG users, and no one knows where their money came from. Sim swappers and people who have hundreds of bitcoins after having been involved in these federal cybercrimes launder all of their money into OG names in order to keep them for a while. This is a short-term flex to prove that you're wealthy, but also another method to keep money hidden from the government. You see, if you had suspicions the FBI was on your ass for cybercrimes and that you could face real prison time for your deeds, one of the best things you could do would be to stock up on OG names that are secure and really valuable accounts. These will not only hold their value, but will also skyrocket while you're away, due to the market always being in an uptrend due to more demand, more stolen Bitcoin being available and brought into the hands of young teenagers, and less names being available due to platforms pushing back to kill the communities. Now there's always a risk of your account becoming suspended or pulled, but if it doesn't by the time you're out, that $2,000 Twitter account you bought may very well be worth $10,000. The feds will also have a hard time tracking what you bought with that money and hopefully won't be able to find any of the accounts. This isn't the most common way to hide your money, by the way. Most cyber criminals have a real way to clean their money so they can spend it in the real world, either just by cleaning their Bitcoin with a chip mixer or using some sort of fake business to make it look like you're making money legit. Now, that's all I have for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like as it helps me out a ton. Tell me what you think of this video if you want, as I read all of my comments and I'm always looking to improve. Follow me on Twitter if you want to keep up with me. Follow me on NameMC as well if you want. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. Peace.
Trembling in fear at the idea of death. Since it's always on my mind, I just hide in my bed. Everybody's scared of it's from my therapist.